In progress.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Yin Yoga class. This is a very special class for stretching the legs and stretching the hip flexors. So if you are a walker or a runner, this is a practice that you will want to do when your muscles are cold. This is not a practice for when you are preparing to go run a marathon or go out for a long walk. So we use this practice maybe in the morning when we get up and our muscles are still cold, or we use it at night before we go to bed. Maybe we've been walking for quite a while. So if you're just joining me now, I'll repeat what I said. So today's practice is a special Yin Yoga practice for the hip flexors and stretching the legs. So we use this practice for when our muscles are cold, not for when we're preparing to go run a marathon or do a long walk around the neighborhood. So it's best to do this practice early in the morning while our muscles are cold, or in the evening before we go to bed. Then it will be most beneficial to you. So a couple of things about the practice. You might want to consider the stability of this practice. So today, we're working on the hip flexor, and I'm just going to stand up to show you, you don't need to stand. So our hip flexor basically has to do with the joint that connects the femur into the pelvic bones. So, and that has a very long name, the acetabulo-femoral joint. And it is what gives us our range of motion, which is pretty much a 360-degree range of motion. And it is the most stable joint in the body. And by that, I mean, it gives us our stability to do what we need during the day. So we're working on the connective tissue for this joint. So we have ligaments connecting bone to bone, and the ligaments are made of collagen and elastic fibers, so they can be stretched. And also the tendon, which connects the muscle to the bone, and that can be stretched as well. But this is a very slow process, and we don't do anything quickly. We want to feel as though we're moving in slow motion and really taking care of our body. So you may feel that as you're working, you might be bending over, and if you're bending too much, you might actually do a little bit of damage to the sacrum, the sacroiliac joint. So make sure that that's not what you're focusing on, but that you are focusing on any region of the hips as we walk through this practice. So notice today I have several props. I've got blankets. I have beach towels, so your towels at home will work fine. I have a bolster, and I have blocks. So I'm going to show you how to use those things. I also have a strap, and you can use a belt. You can also use a dish towel if it's kind of long. I will be using these things today and showing you how to use them to benefit the stretch. So our theme for today is wholeness. And as I make statements, I'll tell you where these statements came from, if there is a quote. And these are just contemplative thoughts. These are not fast, hard, true facts. They're just ideas. It's something for us to think about as we're going through our practice. So beginning our practice, if you're comfortable sitting up on a blanket, go ahead and sit on a blanket. I'm just going to stay where I am on my mat. Find a comfortable seated posture, aligning to the curves of your own spine, eyes closed, maybe a gentle gaze in front of you. Finding your breath here, breathing in and out through the nose. Base of the spine reaching into the earth, crown of the head up towards the heavens, getting nice and tall in your seat. Take just a moment here to find stillness and to feel grounded and to let everything go for the next hour. This practice will be about 40 to 50 minutes long. If you have your microphone on, you may want to turn that off so that others do not hear you speaking or moving about. Also, your cell phone, please turn that off or on silent. And each pose, we will be in the pose for 3 minutes each on each side. So bringing palms together at heart center, Anjali Mudra, we will begin our practice of Yin Yoga today with one round of breath together with Om. So inhaling to chant, deep breath in. Om. So in your comfortable seat, you want your right leg or left leg to be placed out in front, and the shin of your right or left leg, whichever you choose to do first, to be somewhat parallel with the edge of the long side of your mat. So sitting nice and tall. Inhale, center. As you exhale, place your fingertips slowly on the ground in front of you and walk them out slowly. The minute you feel pinching or burning or that you've gone too far in your low back, you stop there. So we should be feeling some sensation in the hip flexor, predominantly on the leg which is in front. That's the leg you may feel the most. May not be true for you. So we're here for 3 minutes, breathing in and out through the nose. And as you're breathing in and out through your nose, taking deep belly breaths, if you feel that you want to go a little deeper, walk your fingertips slowly out. If you want to bow your head, because that feels comfortable and gives you more relaxation, allow yourself to do that. So find a sensation from 0 to 10. You want to be at about 4. Because gravity will take you a little bit deeper, you really don't want to go any farther than the sensation of a 4. And in our mindfulness contemplation today, we're focusing on wholeness. So the Greek word for wholeness, and in association with the Bible, translations in the Bible, I found 2 meanings online. Holokleria, which translates to soundness, completeness, perfect soundness, physical wholeness. And holokleros, which is divinely allotted wholeness. So 2 separate words are used in the Greek to mean 2 separate things, even though they both translate as wholeness. In the Hebrew, aruka, also found in the Bible, which we translate as wholeness, means healing or restoration. So consider that wholeness can mean all of those things and more. And as we go through our practice today, consider what wholeness means to you in any capacity. Continuing to breathe in and out through the nose, feeling the sensation in the hip joint. As you exhale, maybe allow yourself to get a little bit more of a stretch as gravity takes you down. A few more breaths here. And preparing to come out of the pose, gently push your palms or fingertips into the floor or mat in front of you. And take your time. Remember, think slow motion here. You're moving through molasses. Once you find your straight spine, bring your hands behind you. Lean on your fingertips or your hands and gently switch your legs out. If it feels comfortable to stretch them first, stretch them, maybe wiggle them. And then whatever leg was in front, you're going to place the other leg in front with the shin parallel to the long side of your mat. So finding space here, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Inhale, center. As you exhale, allow your fingertips to come down to your mat. If this is enough sensation for you, you stay here. You may find yourself wanting at this point already to slowly relax your arms and your head and just allow your head to bow a little bit forward and relax. If you would like to go further, slowly walk your fingertips out in front of you until you have reached the sensation that is best for you. Remember, you are looking for a sensation of about 4. If at any point you feel pinching or burning or pain of any kind, push into your fingertips and maybe back out of the pose just a little bit. So breathing in and out through the nose, relaxing, letting go, creating space in the joint, allowing the ligaments which join bone to stretch. And we do this by staying in the pose in stillness. So according to the World Health Organization, their definition of wholeness is as follows. Wholeness is the state of complete well-being. Wholeness is the state of complete well-being. And while here, consider what that means to you. What is the picture of complete well-being in your life? Finding rest in the pose, relaxing into the sensation. You may be up on your fingertips, you may be down on your elbows. Wherever you found the sensation of about a 4, allow yourself on your exhale to go a little further as you relax into the pose. Remembering to find the sensation in your legs and hips and not in the low back. If you feel it in the low back, you should straighten your position a little bit more. To come out of the pose, we take a nice deep inhale. Slowly walk our fingertips or palms back towards the body. Straightening up to a tall spine. Palms or fingertips come behind you. Rock back on your palms or fingertips. Straighten out your legs. Flex your toes, so flex the feet and your toes, point the toes and point the feet. Make circles with your ankles, one way and then the other way. Relax your knees and allow your feet to be windshield wipers going opposite directions, so out and in at your own pace, releasing this pose. So coming back to center, bend both knees and find your way to the middle of the mat on your left or right hip. Straighten out both legs. Find a tall seat. We're going into half shoelace. So you may want to have a towel or a blanket, or you may want to have a block close by. So here, center, we want our feet to be flexed. Right knee comes in, foot is flat on the floor, nice tall straight back. Bring your right foot over, so your right leg crosses over your left. Left foot is also flexed, nice straight back. You may want to stay here as we begin to hinge forward. But if you want more sensation, so now we're going to be working the back of the leg, but also the hip flexor. If you want more sensation and it is available to you, you want to stack one knee as closely above the other knee as you can. If not, you stay here. You might even place your leg this way, if you can see it. So I'm here, but you might even place your leg this way as if you were in a figure four, and slowly come down when I cue you. Or You may go ahead and half shoelace and place your knee over the other knee. This is going to give you a deeper stretch in your hip flexor, but also in your hamstring. So I'm going to turn around here. Hands are by my side. I'm going to use my hands, my fingertips once again to bring me down to the level where I want to be. Inhale, center. As you exhale, slowly allow your fingertips to walk you down to wherever you want that sensation to be. So your left leg, your heel, is pushing into your mat and your toe is flexed. Slowly allow your shoulders to relax, your head to relax down. And we're here for 3 minutes. When you get to a position where you are at about a 4, relax your foot and your knee on your left leg. And gravity will slowly take you deeper and deeper as we're here for 2.5 more minutes. So in yoga, wholeness is the unity of all parts: mind, body, spirit, emotion. So as we practice today, consider where we are in the framework of mind, body, spirit, emotion. If you want to make this an active pose and you want a deeper stretch in your left leg and hamstring, you can actually push that heel and curl the toes and reach your right hand out. And not really pull hard, but just let it rest on your foot. This will give a deeper sensation. It's enough for me right now, so I'm not going to do that. But if you would like to do that, that's fine. It's perfectly acceptable in yin. It just makes it a little more active. And yin is a passive yoga practice. So wholeness in yoga is the unity of all parts: mind, body, spirit, emotion. And maybe you can add some other things to that list. As you exhale through your nose, feel yourself really letting go and bending deeper into the stretch. A few more breaths here. So preparing to come out of the pose, place your palms once again on your mat or use your fingertips. Slowly backwards your way up, using your arms to a tall seat. Move your hands slowly behind you. Lean on your hands. Allow your right leg to come across your left. Stretch out your right leg. Again, flex the feet. Make circles with the feet one way, then the other. Allow your knees and feet to be loose and windshield wash them opposite directions. Bend the knees and just do a couple of gentle windshield wipes with the knees. You can make it a wide stance if that feels better for you, or you can bring it in hip distance apart. So preparing for the other side, straighten out both legs, come to a tall seat, belly button to spine. This time our right leg is straight, left knee is bent. Bring your left foot over top of your right leg. Stay here, or if you like, maybe make that figure 4. And you might try a couple of things to see if that's comfortable for you. Otherwise, go ahead and place your left knee over top of your right knee as close as you can. If it's not completely over each other, that's okay. You're going to get more of a stretch in your hip flexor and also in your right leg. One side may feel different than the other, and that's okay. So shoulders back and down, straight back. Inhale, center. Exhale with foot flexed, heel pushing into your mat as you slowly walk your fingertips down until you reach about 4. And then allow your head and shoulders to slowly drop. Imagine you're looking down towards your knee, your nose is moving towards your knee. Maybe you're sitting higher and it's here. That's okay, wherever you are for this sensation. Some people like to put a block here and rest their head here. If you do that, that's okay, but it does not allow you to really fall fully into the pose. But find where you want to be and experiment with it. The more you do it, the more your body will give in and you'll find that good stretch. So deep stretch here for the back of the calf, the hamstrings, but also on the left side of our body, those hip flexors. The deeper you go, the more you feel it in both legs and in the hip. But the point is not to push yourself there. The point is to let gravity do it for you. So while here, consider this statement: wholeness is the harmony of all parts. Wholeness is the harmony of all parts. So in community, family, any collective, the earth, the universe, wholeness is the harmony of all parts. So breathing in and out through the nose, really relaxing here. You might find yourself sinking deeper and deeper, getting a good stretch. Preparing to come out of the pose. Once again, fingertips or palms come onto the mat. Slowly backwards, walk your way up to a tall seat. Feel the sensation here for just a moment. Walk your fingertips back behind you. Place your palms on the mat. Unwrap your left leg. Stretch out your left leg, maybe shift your hips, flex your feet, point your feet, flex your toes in your feet, point your toes in your feet. Make circles one way and then the other way. Relax your legs and wiggle them back and forth in that windshield wipe motion. One more time. This time coming up to a tall seat and legs are stretched out in front of you, we're going to work on the upper part of our hip flexor. So rather than think of this as being a quad stretch, which it is, it's also working this hip flexor here. So rocking over onto your left hip, bend your right knee and bring your shin parallel to the outside edge of your mat, flex your foot. If this becomes too much of a stretch for you at any point, you back out of it. So using our hands, we're going to gently not walk straight back, but we're at an angle. So if you look at where your right leg is, you want to kind of go back down towards your mat. Now this may be enough for you, and if it is, that's fine. Stay there. If you can, come down on your elbows you'll feel a different sensation. We don't want our leg to pop up off the mat. So if your leg is popping off the mat, you need to lift yourself a little bit more. And then maybe just pull back so you can feel a little bit of a stretch here. I really like to use this as a stretch for restorative, which means I use a block. And as I go down, I use the block at an angle, not a block, a bolster, excuse me, at an angle, and I allow myself to lower down at this angle. So once you're where you need to be, find that edge of about a 4. We're here for 3 minutes. If you went all the way down, please keep in mind that that is a very, very deep back bend and can sometimes bother the sciatic nerve and can also interfere with your sacroiliac joint. So please just be mindful of that. So our thought about wholeness here is from the Bible, from Colossians 2. For in Jesus, the entire fullness of God's nature dwells bodily, and in him you have been made whole. And so what does that scripture say to you about your wholeness? Maybe as you're breathing in and out through your nose, reflect on some of the definitions of wholeness that I mentioned. Now I'll read this quote from the Bible one more time from Colossians 2, 9 and 10. For in Jesus, the entire fullness of God's nature dwells bodily, and in him you have been made whole. So relaxing here, breathing in and out through the nose, finding that stretch. So if you're not feeling a lot of stretch in the front part of your hip flexor, you might press deeper into your left hip or rotate so that you are rotating your right hip. The right leg is bent back, your right hip up a little bit more. Just be mindful that as you do that, you increase this back bend in your low back, which is okay, but if it's too much, you don't want to do that. So we should be at a 4 in terms of sensation. So for me, I'm lying on the bolster because I do not want a deep back bend, but I do want to get this sensation in my hips. So I've raised my hip just a little bit, making it more of an active pose. It would be passive if I let everything drop, but I really do want to feel that stretch in that ligament that's attaching at the front. It's not much. I'm not really pushing into it or hurting myself. It's just enough that I can feel that sensation of about a 4. So preparing to come out of the pose, place your palms on your mat, your elbows on the mat, begin to lift yourself up, but pull yourself or push yourself with your right hand towards the left side of your body. Release your left leg and slowly come up to a seated position. Maybe just bend forward for a second, because that was a back bend as well as a stretch of the front ligament. Coming to the other side, if you're like me and you're using a bolster, move your bolster over to the other side. You can use beach towels or towels to lift you up. You can use blocks if you like as well. So rolling over a little bit, leaning on your right hip, bend your left leg, place your shin so that it is parallel with the long edge of your mat. Flex your foot in your left leg. Right leg can be unflexed. Slowly allow yourself to come down, not straight back on the mat, but kind of at an angle. So you may need to adjust your cushion as well. Slowly allow yourself to come down, but finding that 4 on the left side of your body. And once here, relax your right leg, relax your left foot. If you are not using a bolster, both shoulders should be on the mat. So if you're not using any prop at all, you want to make sure your shoulders are on the mat, but also that you're not having straight hips, trying to keep straight on the mat. That's too much for your low back and for your sciatic joint. You will end up in pain. And the next quote is also from the Bible. And Jesus said to him, "Rise and go. Your faith has made you whole." That is Luke 17, verse 19. Rise and go. Your faith has made you whole. Each of these poses, we remain for 3 minutes so that we give our ligaments and our tendons time to really stretch. So as I said earlier, ligaments are made of collagen and elastic fibers. And when we keep them in a pose for at least 3 to 6 minutes, they have the opportunity to really stretch, which ligaments don't like to do. But that is what gives you more mobility, and that is the beauty of yin. So particularly as we age, we find that our mobility decreases. So the practice of yin will help us to increase our mobility. So breathing in and out through the nose. Considering our last thought and quote, your faith has made you well. Your faith has made you whole. So preparing to come out of this pose, allow your fingertips and your palms to be on the mat. Bring your elbows in toward your body. Engage your core. Inhale, center as you exhale. Push into your mat. Begin coming up to seated. Place your weight, if you were on a bolster, on the right side of your body. Swing your left leg out so that it's straight. Allow yourself to come forward. Finding a straight back. We're going to take just a moment here with our fingertips and just move forward a little bit. This will give us some relief from that small back bend. Coming back up to our tall seat. Swing over on your left hip, bend both knees. Come up onto a tabletop. We're going to do just a few rounds of cat-cow. You can remove your bolster, your blocks, anything you have working to help you work. Palms under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Inhale, lift the tailbone, drop the belly, lift the head. Exhale, drop the tailbone, lift the belly, drop the head. 2 more. Inhale, lift the tailbone, drop the belly, lift the head. Exhale, drop the tailbone, lift the belly, drop the head. Very slow movements. Inhale, tailbone, belly, head. Exhale, drop the tailbone, lift the belly, drop the head. Bring your big toes together, knees out a little bit towards the edge of the mat, and push back just for a moment or two, few breaths into child's pose. So for some people, child's pose might look like this. That's okay. You might look like this. Wherever you are, that's fine. If it hurts your knees, you place cushions or blankets underneath your knees. And we're here just for a moment. So coming back to tabletop, our next pose, which is also for 3 minutes, is called dragon pose. So dragon pose can sometimes be very challenging for me. So I'm going to give you 2 options. So if you want to watch and then decide what you want to do, that's okay. So up on tabletop, you're going to bend your right knee and bring your right knee up to the inside of your right hand. So the knee should be over the ankle and your left knee is on the mat. So you can get there however. You might find that it's easier for you to stand up and then step your leg back and drop it down. And then you want to lean forward. And I'm going to do it on this leg because you can see me a little better. So this would be a pose we've done before, which is low lunge. But when we're doing dragon, the left knee is going to be back a little bit because we're really stretching this ligament and tendon here. So you can stay in this pose. Some people really like to use blocks, and I'm one of them because I have short arms, so it's very difficult for me to be in that pose. Untuck the toe of your right foot, and you stay in this pose for 3 minutes. I find that very challenging, so the other alternative, which we've done before, is to be on your back. So I'll show you. Remember to come down on your side and roll over. So find a block. If you don't have a block, you can do it without one, but you will get a better stretch if you have one. Push up into bridge pose, place the block underneath the sacrum, slowly lower down, stretch out your left leg, bring your right leg in towards your chest, flex your left foot. So you're pushing that heel away from you. When you find that edge, you release your left foot so that it's no longer active. So this is where I'm going to stay because for me, this is the most comfortable. It's still challenging, but not like dragon pose is. So we're here for 3 minutes as well. So we've talked about wholeness being unity, harmony, mind, body, spirit, emotion, community, church, family. There's global unity, global wholeness, and universal wholeness. So what do those concepts mean in your life and maybe in today's world? How do we address them personally? So in yoga, we always start with the individual. And yoga means unity. So the Sanskrit word yoga means unity or union. And it incorporates mind, body, spirit. So awareness within, but also awareness without. So as we practice yoga, we really focus on awareness of the physical because we get into poses that demand us to pay attention to our body. Because our body, after all, does carry our spirit. And then when we go deeper, we look inward and we look at spirit and what that means. And the good news is the definition is your definition and no one else's. So breathing in and out through the nose, again, feeling that sensation in your left leg at this point. So I'm going to do 2 cues to come out of the pose because we might have people doing the dragon pose instead of the reclined pigeon, which is what we are in. So first I'll cue us for reclined pigeon. Inhale, center. Exhale, bring your left knee in towards your chest and interlace your fingers. So stay here for just a few moments. If it becomes too intense for you, you can just lay down flat on your mat. So while you're here, our next pose will be to straighten out your right leg and flex that right foot until you find the intensity you need at the front of the hip. Meanwhile, I want to show folks who have been in dragon pose. I'll show you on this side. So you're in dragon pose. Your left knee has been above your ankle. Maybe you've been up on blocks. If not, your fingertips might be touching the mat. Mine are short, so I always need blocks. That left leg has been very stretched. This is a closed hip pose. You're here. Inhale, center. As you exhale, push into your left foot. Allow your fingertips to come down to the mat. Flex your left foot and find a stretch here in your left leg. Bow the head. Inhale, center. Bend that left leg, come back to tabletop. So you're getting ready to go to the other side. Inhale, center. Exhale, allow your right leg to come to the top of the mat, in between, inside your right hand or left, whichever you did first. Left knee is on the mat. Flex that left foot. Find the tension you want. Drop your left foot. Shoulders back and down. Stay here. You can be up on blocks. Find the sensation you want, and you'll be here for 3 minutes. So if you were on your block, which I'm going back to, I'm lifting back up. So I had stretched out my left leg. So now I'm bringing my left knee in and stretching out my right leg, flexing the foot, curling the toes to the nose. When you found the sensation you need, relax your foot, breathing in and out through the nose, finding stillness and accepting wholeness. Remembering that some of the definitions are wholeness is complete well-being. Wholeness is unity of all parts. Wholeness is harmony of all parts. Breathing in and out through the nose, allowing that sensation in your right leg to really stretch, to relax. Again, remember, this is your practice and your yoga. So if at any point it becomes too much for you, you back out of the pose. And it's perfectly fine to find a pose that is comfortable for you. And maybe that is what your body needs today. So please remember, it's never about achievement or looking like someone else. It's about the awareness of what you feel and the sensation you are trying to achieve. And you want to be in that sensation at a level 4 for a specific amount of time. And in this case, for 3 full minutes. In and out through the nose, really relaxing. If your knee is tightened, relax your knee, relax your ankle, relax your hip, your jaw, your shoulders, maybe your neck. And to come out of this pose, we bring our right knee into the chest and we interlace our fingers and relax here. If you are up, so please stay here and just relax. If you have the block, you can move it and go back into cradle. If you were up in your dragon pose and you've been here for a while, push into your right heel, curl your toes to your nose, stretch out that right leg. Head is bowed. Deep inhale, exhale, bend the right knee, bring the right knee back and push back into your child's pose. Inhaling and exhaling out through the nose. And so if you are in child's pose, push your hands into your mat, come back up to seated. If you're down on the mat, stay where you are, remove your block. Those of you who are seated, lean yourself on one hip or the other and come back down to lying on your back. So this is our final stretch for today. You will need your strap. So this is to stretch out the lower, so the lower part of the acetabular, that joint, and also to stretch out the back of the hamstring. So we'll start with our right leg first. So if you have a strap, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can put the strap at the ball of your foot. You're going to point your toes towards your nose and your heel towards the sky. Maybe your leg is not bent. You don't want to open up and have your hips open. So you want to be closed hips. You can leave your left leg bent or straighten it out, whatever is more comfortable for you. So you don't want stress to be on the back. You want your stretch to be in your leg. So in the back of the hamstring. So I also like to form a loop with my strap so that my hands aren't doing the work. I take the strap and I place it behind my body. So it's going, my right leg, it's going to go right over my right shoulder, and it's going to wrap underneath so that I can rest on the strap using my back and my glutes. And I can get it as straight or taut. If I need to ease up on it, I just ease up on it a little bit, keeping the toes curled, keeping that heel centered and pushing into the ceiling. Arms are down by your side. This way you don't have to have any action on your arms or shoulders. But if you don't have one, it's fine. You can just keep your legs straight up and push your heel towards the ceiling. So we're here for just a few minutes. So you might really feel that we've opened up that hamstring already, and this will do a little bit more. So yes, we are stretching this muscle, but we're also working with the joints behind the knee and also the acetabular joint, but from underneath where your sit bones are. So my leg is pretty straight. Yours may not look like that. That's okay. If yours looks like this or this, you still can get that stretch. So wherever you are is perfectly fine. Remember, you're not here to look like someone else. And from here, we're going to work this IT band, and it's just a very, very small movement. So rather than move your leg to the outside of your body, you're going to cross your leg so that it moves over towards the other side of your body. And it's a very small movement. You will feel a lot of sensation very quickly. So you're not rolling over, because if you start to roll your hips, you're moving out of the pose. You're just making the slightest, almost micro movement. Maybe it's a millimeter, where your left leg, your right leg is now going over towards the left side of your body. Hips are still on the floor, shoulders are still on the floor. We're here for just a few more breaths. I find this very challenging, and I don't know anyone who doesn't think this is quite a challenge. So keep breathing in and out through your nose. Try to relax your body. If it helps you to stretch out your left leg, that's great. For me, I like my left knee bent. So that's where I stay. It kind of puts less pressure on my low back. So last deep inhale and exhale through the nose. Inhale, bring your leg back to center. Exhale, bend the knee. If you have your foot in a loop, take the loop off. If you have your strap wrapped around your foot, take it off. Just completely bend your right knee and bring your right foot down to the mat. We're going straight over to the other side. So right knee bends, comes into the chest. Lift your foot towards the floor, flex that foot. Lift up and place your strap where you need to. Again, I like to put mine over my shoulders so my left foot is holding the strap. The strap comes down over my left shoulder. I have to lift up now, and underneath my body. And I make the adjustments I need to for this leg. So, and one leg may look and feel different than another leg, and that's okay. So pointing that heel towards the ceiling. If it's too much of a sensation, back the heel off a little bit. Curl the toes to the nose. Keep breathing in and out. If you need to let up on the strap, let up a little bit, that's okay. Maybe your leg is down here. Maybe it's bent. It's all okay as long as you're feeling sensation on the back of your leg. So find what is comfortable and what works for you, but gives you that sensation of a 4. So, and when you're ready, we're going to inhale center. As we exhale, we're moving our left leg over towards the right side of our body. Remember, this can be just a micro movement. You're going to feel that IT band. The IT band connects the tibia to the ilius, which is the top, the big bone of your hip. It's the longest muscle that we have. Deep stretch for that. If you run, if you walk a lot, this could be very tight. Continue breathing in and out through the nose. Preparing to come out of this pose. Deep breath at center. Bring your leg back to center. As you exhale, bend that left knee. Bring your arms up to your strap. Unloop, take the loop off. Maybe take the strap off. If it was looped around, bring your left leg down to your mat. Both feet are on the floor. Inhale, center. As you exhale, allow both knees to drop over to the right side of your body. So preparing to end our class today, getting just a small twist Shoulders are relaxed. Arms are relaxed. Jaw is relaxed. On your next inhale, prepare to come back to center. As you exhale, flex your right foot, push into your right foot, activate your thigh, come back to center, inhale. Exhale, allow both knees to drop over to the left side of your mat. Again, if your left knee doesn't come down, make sure you put something underneath it so you're bringing the floor to your knee. And we're here for just a few breaths. There's a lot to think about with the word wholeness. And what it means in your life. So preparing to come out of this pose, inhale, center. Exhale, press into your left heel, activate your left thigh, bring both legs back to center. Bring your right knee into your chest, your left knee into your chest. Interlace your fingers, rocking back and forth. Allowing that lower back to release a little bit more. And preparing to come into Shavasana, final resting pose. Bring both feet down one at a time to your mat. Stretch out your right leg. Stretch out your left leg. Both arms come overhead, deep stretch. And bring both arms down by your sides. As you exhale, allow everything to just fall away. And a few more thoughts of contemplation. As you prepare for Shavasana, and this is a quote from Rumi, when one whole human being meets another whole human being, there is no antagonism. Even if there is difference, there is respect, because the wholeness of one is not in conflict with the wholeness of another. And another quote from Plotinus, who was a Greek mystic in the time of about 205 Common Era. If we are in unity with the Spirit, we are in unity with each other. And so we are all one. So you have 2 minutes in Shavasana before we close our practice. So eyes closed. Breathing in and out through the nose. And feeling the sensation in your body. Where do you feel energy? Where do you feel stretch? And your affirmation for the last few breaths of class are, I am whole. If you would like to remain in Shavasana, just lying on your mat, please stay where you are. Otherwise, stretch arms overhead and stretch legs and arms in opposite directions. Bring your arms back down by your side. Bend your knees, feet come to the mat. Roll over to one side or the other. Plant your palm, press it into your mat, and come to a seated posture as I close out today's practice. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. I hope you have a nice, flexible, healthy body today. I hope you feel whole and complete and beautiful as you are. The light in me honors and loves the light in you. Namaste.
Thank you, Linda. That was
Thank you,
great.
Cindy. I've got to run because I have a class to attend. Goodbye. Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Thanks
Bye.
a lot.